Welcome, KZOOMers.
KZOOMer lovers.
KZOOMers. So you might want to just take a look around the KZOOM room to connect yourself in practice. And anybody who can show your face, you can do that so we can connect with you. And so these are times when we need each other, and the Song of Songs, the commandment to put love at the center is really kind of crucial as we take this journey, and it kind of doesn't happen automatically. It kind of needs our practice. And as I was saying to someone in spiritual direction today, we have this negativity bias of the brain that just sort of kicks in if we don't, and our spiritual practice is what we use in order to rewire, to come to reality in a different way. And the journey that we're on through the journey of love at the center is the journey towards what I call unity consciousness, or oceanic consciousness, the realization of oneness. And our liturgy really, kind of gives us the clue that the Shema is really central. And all of the service leading up to the Shema is really to get us on a pathway towards that unity consciousness so that we can touch into this essential truth. And, and the pathway is not always... okay. The pathway is not always obvious. So, is everybody here? Everybody here now?
I think we are.
The pathway to unity consciousness is something that we need to be deliberate about, to practice. And the first practice that we're going to do together is called One Alone. And the text from the Song of Songs, it sort of tells us about all the distractions that are possible. It says there are 60 queens and 80 concubines and young maidens beyond number. One alone is my dove, my perfect one alone, so luminous in her mother's heart. And those words, one alone, really brought me back to that place of the Shema that I want to tap into every single day and live from. And I was really asking the question today, what are the pathways to that unity consciousness? And I remembered this one teaching of Reb Albert Einstein. He said, a human being is part of the whole, called by us a universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task, and here's where he kind of lays out the pathway to unity consciousness. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. So this kind of widening of the circle, and it's interesting because we get to that widest circle by focusing into this oneness, and in that oneness, everything exists. So I like to do this practice kind of like a zikr, like, that with a bowing, and when we bow, it's a kind of a surrendering to that oneness. So if you feel like just feeling that movement in you, and there is part of the chant that just says one alone, and then there's another part that goes over it. So you can stay with one alone, or you can sing that kind of lyrical kind of poetry about that one who is so luminous in the heart of the Great Mother. So here we are, stepping onto this path, the path of the Shema, the path towards unity. And whenever we touch into that unity, the love pours forth. V'ahavta. That love comes after that Echad, that unity. So we'll start. One alone, 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 one So Llewellyn Vaughn Lee says the sacred principles of life have never been written down. They belong to the heartbeat, to the rhythm of the breath and the flow of blood. They are alive, like the rain and the rivers, the waxing and waning of the moon, if we learn to listen. That's where the Shema comes in. If we learn to listen, we will discover that life, the Great Mother, is speaking to us, telling us what we need to know. So luminous in her mother's heart. So a kind of a listening and a resting into the truth, the oneness, or the foundation that is always holding us. And it kind of forces us to let go of our kind of, compulsion to try to control things, and then we rest into that oneness, and that's really the secret of Shabbat and I think Judaism's great gift to the world that says stop. Really that's what Shabbat says. It's just stop and rest. Rest into all of these different aspects of oneness. And so there is a prayer that that is usually, that I reserve for Shabbat afternoon, but I'm going to take us there now. And this comes from a Shabbat afternoon prayer, and I composed this in honor of Wendy and Susan, who are sitting in a square right there for their wedding day, and it was a great gift to me to be able to discover this the secret of Menuchat, of rest. So rest isn't just kind of nothing. It is. We're always resting into something, and so the prayer says it really kind of points us towards that oneness, and saying that in order to be able to experience that oneness, we have to stop, and we have to rest into. And there's a quality of the rest, and there's actually 7 different qualities that this practice brings us to. So there is the rest of love and of generosity, and the rest of truth and of faith, the rest of peace and serenity, and the last rest, which is, I call it the rest without guilt. Because it's commanded of us, a rest, a perfect rest in which you find favor. This is what you, the great oneness, are asking of me, to stop, and to, I think of what I do in my meditation is I prioritize nothing over something. And it's a kind of a great relief, because there's so many somethings going on in my mind most of the time. And it's only in the no thing that I get to rest and then kind of melt into, become one with that oneness that is calling us.
Just reminded me of a Buddhist joke where the monk is writing a letter to the Buddha. He says, "Dear Buddha, thanks for nothing."
See, it could be a Jewish joke too, though, because that's.
Yes.
Yes. On that note.
I had to.
So here, let's bring the attention into kind of like a deep sense of relaxation, and there is a sense of relaxation that doesn't put you into sleep; it puts you into wake. Well, brings you into a different kind of awakened state. Atah echad, v'shimcha echad, all is one. And you do each line 4 times. Atah echad, v'shimcha echad, all is one. Atah echad, v'shimcha echad, all is one. Atah echad, v'shimcha echad, all is one. Menuchat ahavah ve'unedava. Menuchat ahavah unedava. All is one. Menuchat ahavah unedava. All is one. Menuchat ahavah unedava. All is one. Menuchat ahavah unedava. All is Menuchat Emet ve'emunah. Menuchat Emet ve'emunah. All is one. 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 Menuchat Shalom v'shalva. Menuchat Shalom v'shalva. All is one. Menuchat Shalom v'shalva. All is one. Menuchat Shalom v'shalva. All is one. Menuchat Shalom v'shalva. All is Menuchat Shlema she'atah rotzeh ba. Menuchat Shlema she'atah rotzeh ba. All is one. Menuchat Shema She'atah rotzeh ba. All is one. Menuchat Shalom She'atah rotzeh ba. All is one. Menuchat Shalom She'atah rotzeh ba. All is one. Atah Echad. Atah Echad. V'shimcha Echad. All is one. 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 Close your eyes. Bring your attention to the breath. Imagine breathing into the heart, finding a great spaciousness there in the heart, a portal opening to the oneness. Breathing into that portal, and let it open up into the vastness that you are. So Kabir Helminski says, there is a knowledge and a practice of connecting ourselves with cosmic life. It has nothing to do with belief. It is learned. It is increased by our consciousness of it, by our increasing awareness of the abundance of cosmic energy. Life is infinite, and this infinity can be tapped. The only limitation is one of awareness. So I was thinking of those pictures that are coming back from the James Webb telescope to say that the only limitation is one of awareness. And and as those pictures come back, our awareness of the galaxies begins to expand, or begin to connect ourselves with the cosmos. And it's like we kind of know it's there, but but unless we practice connecting into it, it's just an abstraction. It's the difficulty of our spiritual path is not only in connecting to that oneness, but also not connecting to what is limited, not sort of attaching ourselves to a limited truth or a limited view, a limited perspective, because it's going to lead us to what in our tradition is called idolatry, really, when we end up worshiping something that is smaller than the oneness. So I wanted to just sort of be, sort of have an awareness of like some of the tendencies to kind of to look to the wrong places for help, for connection, and so that every time we do that, we can sort of say, no, it's it's bigger. It's bigger than that. It's always bigger. And so this practice that I want to do, that I call it tuning into the creator function, because I composed this chant for my friend Yafa Chase when she was going into labor with our goddaughter.
Who's now 17, 18?
Yeah.
My goodness.
So, and my intention was to say, like, oh, the creation is happening. I mean, it's happening through all of us, but in that moment, it was happening through her womb, and but it's happening all the time, and we want to be able to attune ourselves. Oh yeah, there was this one thing that I keep reminding us. There's something from this Hazrat Anai Khan. He says, to realize and spread the knowledge of unity and wisdom. This is our purpose, that seekers may come into rhythm with life's conditions and be in tune with the infinite. And I loved that idea of being in tune with the infinite. So this tuning in is being in tune with the infinite, tuning into that creator function that is coming through each of us, each in our own ways. The light is pouring in through your unique refraction. So this is a reminder that's to turn towards that one, and to feel that power of creativity moving through us. And it's around. We'll do it first a few times together.
Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. My help comes from the One. My help comes from the One. My help comes from the One, Creator of heaven and earth. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. My help comes from the One. My help comes from the One. My help comes from the One, Creator of heaven and earth. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. My help comes from the One. My help comes from the One. My help comes from the One, Creator of heaven and earth. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. My help comes from the One.
Feel the breath as the flow of God pouring in and through you. The creator function moving you to create this life.
With help.
With help. Well, the help is that flow that's flowing into us when we open to it. And you might even just feel like you're putting down some of the lesser gods. You're opening up to that oneness. So there's a couple of different kind of, teachings about that the oneness begins inside us. It's like, this one teaching from Art Green says we are of the one each human mind is a microcosm, a miniature replica of the single mind that conceives and becomes the universe. To know that oneness and recognize it in all our fellow beings is what life is about. Oh, that's what life is about. And Ralph Waldo Emerson says the reason why the world lacks unity and lies broken in heaps is because man is disunited with himself. Disunited with himself. And so sort of the key to, to that unity is this unification inside. And I think last week we talked about the 8 domains of integration, that there's a kind of work that we do to become whole. And in that wholeness we become the microcosm of that unity, and that unity then opens up its radiance to us because we have a place for it. We have a kind of integrity to hold it. So there is this line that is in the paragraph before the Shema, which says it is part of the preparation for unity. And I call it unifying the heart. And it says, unify our hearts to love and to be in awe of your name and your essence, your oneness, really. And so there's, it sort of hints that there are these different parts of ourselves, that we a little bit compartmentalize. And so, but we need to kind of bring them together, all these different parts, in a kind of addressing that oneness. So that working first inside ourselves, or working at the same time inside ourselves, in order to then see. This is the reason the world lacks unity and lies broken in heaps. I love that, broken in heaps. It's because we are disunited with ourselves. So, for those who are shooting, it's an F and a C on this piece. So I just want you to begin just by tuning into your own heart. And just as in the physical heart has the 4 different chambers, the spiritual heart also has these kind of parts, divisions that need to kind of come together in order to give us life and to give us that possibility of the perception of oneness. So I think with this practice, we're kind of setting an intention. We're taking a journey into the depths of our own hearts to find there the love and the awe, and allowing them to kind of merge into a sense of the essence of oneness. Does that make some sense to you as I'm talking? Does it resonate? Yeah. It's a powerful practice.
ve'achei levaveinu le'ahavah ule'yirah et ve'achei levaveinu 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 ve'achei Avenu le'ahavah ule'yirah et
So as we rest into this sense of oneness, we know that it is fleeting, that we glimpse it, we touch it, and then we want to live in the light of it. I want to see, it's like, what is the rest of our lives, like how do we express that? How do we reflect it? How do we create from that place? How do we find a pathway back to it when we lose it? And for me, this ecstatic practice of chant is a way of having an experience and then bringing an awareness to it. That the chant brings me to a certain state that feels extraordinary, and then I want to just look into that state and say, well, what does the world look like from here? What is possible from here? How does this state contrast with some of the other states I've been in the last while? But I want to just sort of like keenly, bring this heightened awareness, and the more awareness that you bring to a state, the more that you are creating pathways to be able to return to it. And so it's like, as we get together in these KZOOMs, I'm hoping that, we kind of together, we amplify that experience with each other. And just by looking into the faces of the people on the KZOOM, we were like, we were all just there. And that, we all touched it together. We all saw it. It reminds me of this one time I was with Miriam Levy up on Rose Mountain, and a UFO came, and it's just like, and we both looked at it, and then it went, and we stood there for a while, and then finally we turned to each other and we we said, Did you see that? Because if I had just seen it by myself, I would just said no, I couldn't have seen that. But and so that's kind of why we get together with other people in practice, because it's like that vision that happens between us, we get to reaffirm it between us by saying, did you see that? Did you feel that too? Even for a moment, was that real? Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yes.
So I want to thank you all for your practice, and maybe take a moment to take a moment to look around the KZOOM room and thank everybody here for your practice and your presence and your willingness to go there together. And so I have a sad thing to say.
Oh dear.
Is that there's no KZOOM for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How will we How will we survive?
I don't know how we're going to make it.
Well, I'll be doing.
The chef will be leading
I'll be leading a
retreat.
retreat. So. But no KZOOM for 2 weeks.
So the next KZOOM is the first Thursday in August.
Is that true?
I think so.
No.
Couldn't be.
No.
I think so.
No.
Chef is going to check.
Yeah.
Oh, I was right. I'm sorry to say.
And
First Thursday in August. We'll be back.